Ooh, yeah. Talking about my check me out, y'all. Talking about my life. This is my life. This is my life. My life. This is my life. That first verse. I was born in July 1976. Growing from a boy to a man, I didn't know my life would end up like this. I got a wife, I got 5 babies, and my mama is gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm all alone. This is my life. My life. This is my life. This is my life. My life. This is my life. But only God knows about what's on my mind. He knows about what's in my heart. He knows. Gotta get out of here. Gotta be free from the stress and the tears. Check me out, y'all. Yes, I do, y'all. On the tube. Do y'all. My life. This is my life. Got 5 babies, my mama is gone. 4 grandseeds. Sometimes I feel like I'm all alone. Yes, I do, y'all. Now, I don't know why it's gotta be this way sometimes. Said I wanna cry, but I gotta smile. Yes, this life, it has its ups and downs, and I'm trying to find my way around. My life. This is my life. Got 5 babies and my mama is gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm all alone. Yes, I do, y'all. My life. This is my life. But only God knows about what's on my mind. He knows about what's in my heart. He knows. Gotta get out of here. Gotta be free from the stress and the tears. Yes, I do, y'all. My life. This is my life. I got 5 babies and my mama is gone. Sometimes I feel like I'm all alone. Time and energy. Yes, I do. Time and energy. Time and energy. My life. Time and energy, family. Two of the most precious gifts from God. Time and energy. That's a fact. Peace, family. This is your good brother, Second Son. That's second with a K. S-U-N, because I am Carolyn's second son. I want to dedicate this session here today, family, to my mother. 10/27/2005, my mother transitioned into the ancestral realm from the effects of breast cancer at the tender age of 53. My mother was 53 years of age when she transitioned into the ancestral realm from the effects of cancer. And again, when we say cancer, of course, they found it in our breasts. You see, and there's different places, as we know, that cancer can be found. Cancer is cancer. But the whole key to the matter is educating ourselves on what cancer really is. So I'm dedicating this session definitely to my mother, again, who transitioned on this date, 10/27, you understand, 2005. And we flash back to this date, 2005, and we were dealing with the effects of Hurricane Katrina at that time. Peace to the victims of that, what we're going to call it, disaster of a storm. You understand? Yeah, that's what we want to call it. That came through New Orleans, the NO, in 2005. Yeah, that was Hurricane Katrina that came through there, right there at the end of August. And then you have Mama Rosa Parks, peace be upon her. She transitioned 4 days before my mother, October 24, 10/24, 2005. Mama Rosa Parks, she would transition. And then 3 days later, my mother would transition. And again, we're going to dedicate this whole session to her because, death has different effects on different individuals, on different people, you see. And when you go into history of humankind, if we could date back to, our grandparents or great-grandparents, etc., you'll find different, different responses to how one, responded to death. You see, some, of course, like myself, use that concept, you understand, to dig deep and try to get a understanding on what death really is and what death really means. You see? And so for that matter, I am one, as it relates to have the responding, you see, to losing a loved one in the physical. You know what I mean? Specifically my mother, because like we're saying, we're going to dedicate this whole session to my mother, man. Again, who transitioned from the physical shell into the ancestral realm at the tender age of 53, man. And her transition definitely allowed me, her second son, you understand, to get a holistic perspective on not only death, but life itself. Of course, it took me a while. It took me a while because I did sink into a low vibration in a form of depression. I did. You see? And eventually slipping on over into what we would call a severe depression state of mind. And when we say severe depression, that means when you want to commit suicide, take your life. That's severe. When you're contemplating on ways to exit out the earth realm. Now, of course, my mother was strong. See, I come from a womb. That's what's important here. I come from the womb of a strong woman. You know what I mean? One that did not, as it relates to getting sick, when I was growing up, my mama never got sick. She wasn't never, you understand me? She didn't even I don't have memories of her missing church. But one time, I have one childhood memory to where that, sickness had set in or whatever at that time, to where she just wasn't gonna make it, and went on and sat that one out. But again, she didn't even get sick. You see what I'm saying? And to add to that, her mental, you see, it's obvious as I look back on my childhood, you see, and observe or dissect how my mother, was thinking at these different times in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Because of course she was the baby girl, you know what I mean, out the bunch, and young when she had her first child. You know what I mean? My oldest brother. I mean, you know what I'm saying? My brother, her first son. She was young. You know what I mean? The baby. You know what I mean? And all of that. You know what I mean? So with that being said, she grew up without a mother. Have to add that too, because her mother transitioned before she was even 2 years of age. You know what I'm saying? So she didn't even get no memories of. She was almost two, because my Eula may transition and no, she wasn't almost two. Yeah, she was. She was almost two. My mother was. You understand? And with that, she didn't have those, those motherly type memories or even the lessons passed down to her. But the way the universe worked is that, she was sent, you know what I mean, different older women in the church, etc., that she adopted as her, spiritual mother, etc., to where, she didn't, all the way lack out on that. But what we're saying here is, because she was so strong, to make a long story short, that's what made me strong in digging myself up out of this severely depressive state. You see? And within digging myself out of this severely depressive state, because of course it was a collection of many things, not only just the fact that I had lost my mother, you know what I mean, my best friend, you know what I mean, my homie, because my mother, me and her, we had a type of relationship to where we, you know what I mean, she, you know what I mean, never kept a secret, always stayed real, you know what I mean, that type relationship me and my mama had, you know what I mean, she very open and honest with me. You know what I mean? She, let me, she would vent, you know what I'm talking about, to her son, you know what I mean, and etc. To where we had a bond. So of course, yes, her transitioning and of, this cancer thing, it played, it took a toll on my mental strength. And again, along with some other things to add to that, being a so-called black man and, you know what I mean, trying to navigate through this system, etc. You know what I mean, in a territory that's foreign to me, because I'm in-law territory. You see, I chose to sit down with my queen, with my wife, in her territory where she grew up. You know what I mean? So of course that's gonna play a role in it as well, because I'm not from, I'm talking about, where I'm trying to find myself. You understand? So to make a long story short on that, there were different obstacles, of course, challenges that came my way that pushed me over into this severely depressed state, you see, after my mama transition. Now, to digging myself up out of there, we have to fast forward up a little ways, up until just 6 years ago. Like we saying, my mama been gone 15 years ago to date. 15 years. So within that 15 years, we're going to take 6 out of it and go back and rewind back to 2014, to where I made the conscious decision to all the way clean myself up. You understand? And with doing so, knowledge of self, or what is known as the universal light, came my way. It found its way to your brother, you see. And I was able to take advantage of, I have to say this, I was able to take advantage of the type of wound that I came from, that I come from, you see, as it relates to knowledge of self, you see, because knowledge of self is strictly about self-development and getting better as it relates to the way you think. Because, of course, the way you think plays a major role in what you put your time and energy in, too, you see, which that's the title. It's the name of this session right here. Two of the, I'm going to say the most, I didn't put that in the title, though, but two precious gifts of God is time and energy, you see. And the whole foundation of time and energy, again, is your thoughts. What are you thinking? Because that is what you'll find yourself, you see, investing your time and energy into, you see. So again, as it relates to knowledge of self, right there at the top of 2014, we're going to say April of 2014, that your brother found a way to dig deep enough to say, hey, I come from something. You see what I'm saying? So I can't fall victim to the addiction, you see, frequency. Because we got to know that addiction is running rampant, not only within humanity, but specifically, I'm talking about my people, you see, those that we call so-called black, the melanoids of the earth planet. We got to know that addiction is running rampant, and what you addicted to, you see, plays a major role in, watch this, family, how you thinking. You see? Because again, the brain is the central banking system to the human body. You see? So again, this knowledge of self, curriculum, found its way to your brother by way of, I'm going to say, my mother's womb, just like anyone else. That's how it come your way. It comes from, you see what I'm saying? You got to be born out of the womb first. And you have to want to do better. You have to ask questions, you see, because your brother had questions about how is it that my 53-year-old mother that is saved, walk with me, family, you see, she's what they call saved, sanctified. Well, this is what how she identified herself, as being saved, sanctified, you see, and filled with the precious Holy Ghost, and that with fire. We got to say that. And this is what we got to know. That all of that, it sounds good. That's the reality of this. You see? All of that sounds good, but the results that from your time and energy, because you have to put time and energy into this belief system. Or you see how you perceive religion, etc. You see? That's the moral of the story. You got to put your time and energy into it. And that you put your time and energy into, it's important that you get back what you put in it. You see? So, with that being said, this knowledge of self curriculum found its way to me. And again, the foundation of it is What are you doing with your time and energy? That's the foundation of it. This is 2020. So about 4 years ago, I chose to tip over into the farming game and dug out or dug into or tapped into my cell memory, because my papa, you know what I mean, as a youngin, I would get a chance as a youngin to do some farming, get in the farm. You know what I mean? Or you know, get an opportunity to run that tractor and see what this farming concept, or this hobby, it could be a hobby, you know what I mean, or this way of living, I had to see what it do. So 4 years ago, I chose to, well, we chose, me and McQueen, we tapped into it, you know what I mean? She's like, yeah, you want to go on and get a tiller? Yeah, let's get a tiller, you know what I'm saying? I get a tiller, start with that. Bust that land up, started to educate myself on, you know what I'm saying, wake that cell memory back up, and busted me some land, busted me some, you know what I mean, a piece of land up out here. You know what I mean? Where we at? Where we living, you understand? Where we're domiciling at the time. And my children, 3 of my children, I did the, you know what I mean, the busting, the tilling, the grind up and all that. I did, you know, some homework. Again, this is 14 years, yeah, this is 4 years ago, excuse me. So we going back to like 2016, springtime, and I'm finding out, you know what I mean, personally, what that seed do. Not only what that seed do, but what that time and energy do as well. Again, I'm choosing to farm, because going back to knowledge of self, see right there in the 2014, I'm starting to, you see, wake up to my higher self. You see, I'm starting to wake up to my God body self. So with that comes like a do for self frequency, a do for self vibration. It comes with it. So of course, again, I'm 2 years in, so I'm a team man anyway. You see what I'm saying? And we gonna do this as a team. You know what I mean? Anything I'm involved in, and I know how to play my role. You see what I'm saying? And with playing my role, like I say, McQueen, yeah, let's go and get the tiller. Boom, we get the tiller, bust that land up after doing enough, you know, of my personal homework on, like, you know what I'm saying, when to plant, when not to plant, all that. Because we got to know it's a time and a place for everything. Like, literally, that's a universal law. So, we into, at this time, you see what I'm saying, my diet is changing. So, I'm moving closer and closer to plant-based. Make a long story short, I bust up the land, and my babies go through, I make the rows for them to plant the seeds. So I'm first out the gate, bust up the land, I make the beds, as they call it. You make the beds, and then my babies, they come, and they got it orchestrated, you see what I'm saying, and organized how they want, you know what I mean, put this in this place, put the zucchini over here, put the watermelons over here, you see what I'm saying, did all that, and man, listen, in real time, see, again, when you able to do it yourself, you able to reap these benefits of feeling accomplishment, you see. And as a team, we came and put this thing together, man. We had so many zucchini, but to make a long story short, man, we had so many zucchini, we couldn't give enough of them away, you see, and we couldn't eat enough. We had cucumbers, we had watermelons, we had, what else we have that first year? We had plenty of zucchini. That's first of all. We didn't, you know what I mean? Of course, this is our first go around, so we didn't even realize. And of course, the people around me, they used to more growing up on squash. and not zucchini. So when they see that zucchini from afar, off the road or whatever, growing, they, you know what I'm saying, a couple of, you know what I mean, the people that live in the community or whatever would, you know what I'm saying, catch me and stop me, you know what I'm saying, at the store or whatever, they see me, they're like, man, what you got going over there with the big plant going up out? Because they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? That's zucchini. I'm like, wow, that's a zucchini plant? Yeah, that's a zucchini. Because everybody, again, is used to pretty much squash. Now, I'm saying all this because time and energy had to be put into this project, you see? And this project, of course, it required a lot of patience, first of all. Because after tilling the land and all of that and then planting the seeds, you know we had to do some watering. And then we had to be okay with it raining. You know, because you got some people, oh, it's raining. See, and like I done told people all the time, it's a farmer somewhere that's looking for the rain. Well, you see, is not wanting it. Again, this is all time and energy here. What are you doing with your time and energy? See, now that whole concept of time and energy was a family concept where a father came together and a mother came together on an idea that benefited not only the family, but the whole community. Because we was able to give away, like we saying, veggies. I gave a couple of watermelons away, etc. You know what I mean? Just the first go round, of course. And we know eventually that project can turn into, later on down the line, a farm, for sure. And it will. That's what your brother is telling you right now. You know what I mean? That in the future, that will turn into a family farming business, for sure. But I have the spiritual sense enough to know that I cannot be saying that I want to be a farmer and I want to be able to farm and produce and supply grocery stores if I won't start at home first. You see how that work? I have the spiritual sense enough to know that the word is God and it's connected to my time and energy. Because again, like my father-in-law would always say, peace be upon him, a pair of lips will say anything. And see, we got to be careful in not getting caught up with just saying something with your mouth that your body is not matching up, your actions not matching up with your words. You see? So again, what we saying is, as a family, a mother and a father came together on a concept that, again, not only the family benefited from, but the whole community benefited from. And again, what are we saying here? It's important to know that time and energy has to be put into that you feel like that you feel like is necessary, that makes sense for your life and your well-being. Time and energy that go all the way to educating ourselves, you see, on how the human body works. Because just like that zucchini seed, now that I have planted zucchini with me and my family, again, like we're saying, that zucchini seed grows into a whole, it's like a baby tree, family. I've seen it. I did it. It ain't nothing that I heard. That zucchini seed grows into like a baby tree. I'm talking about it grows into, it has like big leaves that's like shade for the zucchinis to sit down on the bottom. Like, because again, you know, it's springtime, family. We got to think about this. When we're growing these zucchini, it's springtime. So eventually you're going to get some hot sun eventually. So it's important for that zucchini to sit up under its own shade. You see how that works? From a seed. Huh? That watermelon. You see, we grew watermelons. We grew cucumbers. And at the time, I'm a baby in the game, so I didn't even know that the cucumbers supposed to be crawling up something. I'm supposed to have a fence or something in there for the cucumber to crawl up. We had so many cucumbers, they just lay on the ground. And later on, I do my homework, you see, and find out that you're supposed to have, they're supposed to crawl like berries. It's certain fruits and veggies that need something to crawl up. You see, with this vine, etc. And you learn all this by what? Getting into a knowledge of self. You see? Because again, a thorough knowledge of self is going to encourage you to produce something. That's the key here. For yourself. Like Papa and them did. You see, they lived off the land. You see, and we, of course, our grocery bill went down when I chose, you see what I'm saying? When we chose to farm, because we, again, was moving closer and closer to plant-based. So that I didn't have to go, we didn't have to go get no Kenny no more, you see? And of course, that whole project, again, started with a thought, family. That's the whole foundation here of this lesson as it relates to time and energy. Because you have to find yourself indulging in and investing your time and energy that is going to produce, you see, that is going to benefit you and your family. And health is wealth. You see, that's going to benefit your family. Why are we saying that? Because you stand out of the way of having to be tended to. You see? That's the fact of the matter. That's the whole idea here of what are you putting your time and energy into. That's the whole key. That's the whole key of knowledge of self. Health is wealth. You understand? To be able to do this, family, to be able to delve into the human body, you see, and get out of it what God created in it for you to get. You see? God, man, the Word made flesh. George W. Carey. You see? My mother's transitioning, that's where it pushed me to. Her transitioning didn't put me in a state of depression to where I couldn't, again, dig myself out of it through her strength. Because now I'm able to benefit from her even more because she's transitioned to the spirit realm. And in the spirit realm is where she is going to provide her second son, first son, grandseeds, etc. You see? With the opportunity. You see what I'm saying? Bumping elbows with God, if you will. You know what I mean? Let's make, you know what I mean? Let's visualize this thing. That's what your brother's talking about. I got spiritual sense enough to know that my mother in the spiritual realm is of a benefit to me. Because I was supposed to, quote unquote, bury her. See? Because I'm in the thought pattern of my mother is not gone. Only her physical shell, yes. But her spirit lives forever. Because how do I know? Because I'm breathing. I'm her son. I come from her. She have a first son. He's breathing. So that means her spirit lives on. We have children. You see? Etc. So again, what we're saying here is her transitioning from this cancer provided me with the motivation. Let's use that word. Yes. Provided me with the motivation to say, hey, let me dig into this a little deeper, man, because I know my mother. You see? I live with her. You know what I mean? And I saw how she lived. She was loyal to this holy way of living. You see? This ideal of holy. Because again, it's a form of godliness that she's getting. But she don't know this. I'm able to get this lesson later. And her being in the spirit realm allows me to get it. Because she's working harder in that spirit realm for her second son, you see, to get the lesson so he can bring the lesson back to the family. That it's not about nothing more than your time and energy and what you're doing with your time and energy and what you're putting your time and energy into, because that's gonna answer all the questions about how your life is playing out. You see? as it relates to, are you living sick or are you living whole? You see? And we got to know that poverty is a disease. That's a disease as well. Not just heart disease, cancers, you see what I'm saying? Hypertension, and you see what I'm saying? Etc. Diabetes, etc. You see? We got to know that poverty is in there too. Why are we saying this? Why are you saying this, brother Second Son? Because we got to know that when we're pledging allegiance to a God, you see, if you will, or a religion, it's very important that you get out of it what you put into it. You see? And again, poverty is not a part of God's plan for his people. You can't, there's no way around that, family. Sickness and disease is not a part of the plan for what God wants for his children. That's a lie from the pits of hell. You, as my mother would say, you do not be born again. You see, remember? When you're born again. You're not born again to live sick. That's not logical. Huh? That's not logical to be born again. Huh? You see? Because to be born again, you remember you done had to redo some things. You see? So we're going to redo it to live a sick life, to live a poverty-stricken life. That's not of God. And like your brothers say all the time, the pharmacy is not of God. The pharmacy is not of God. I know somebody goes, you're not a doctor. I've been medically diagnosed. And again, your brother, I'm not making fun of no one. But as it relates to universal and divine law, natural law, you see, cosmic law. We're talking about God's law. You see, the universal one, not the denominational one, because that's a different form of rules. And again, the denominational one is where I've seen my mother, I'm telling my story now, so I can't offend, I'm telling my story, where I seen my mother, the denominational God, pledge allegiance to it and live sick. She transitioned at 53. That's young. Huh? And gave years to a denominational, a demo God. Not a holistic one, but a demo, a form of a God. You see how this working? You see where we get this 3/5 of a person frequency from? Because you get a form of godliness through these denominational institutions, not a holistic one. Because again, by his stripes I am healed. That don't mean that don't mean that I transition sick. If by his stripes I'm healed, how is it possible for me to transition sick if by his stripes I'm healed? See, we got to talk about that, because we go into this Holy Bible and we go into this Holy Bible with a partial mindset, 3/5 of a person, you see, meaning you're not whole, because remember, your original tongue was stripped from you. Your original ideology of who God is, your divine creed, if you will, was snatched away from you. You see? And then somewhere along the lines, it turned into this divisional competition. My God is gonna put me in a particular situation that your Allah and your Buddha and your you see Confucius, you see, your Hindu ain't. Somewhere along the lines, it got that way, to where it's got egotistical, to where a denominational, a demogod got a certain human being walking around North America feeling like that they are part of some elite group to where they can live, watch this family, any kind of way, choose to invest their time and energy in low vibrational, you see, activities. What are you saying, brother Second Son? When you're sitting there watching the soap operas, that's low vibrational time and energy. Any form of soap operas. That time and energy that you're putting into being dramatic, you see, and wanna who's doing who's kissing who's doing this and who, that soap opera-ish vibration. The whole time you're putting your time and energy in that, you see, it's important that that's what you're attracting. See, whether you turn the goddamn on one life to live off and go to church to the prayer meeting or not, you still got to be held accountable for that time and energy that you put into something that's not godly. You can't say that any part of Hollywood is holistic. You see how this working? Any form of Hollywood, any part. You see? And again, time and energy is going to tell the tale, because when some type of sickness and disease creeps in, it depends on how healthy the body is, whether or not the individual, the human being, is able to shake it off, whatever sickness or disease it is, or it may be, no matter what it is. The human body was created in a way to where it has the ability to heal itself. You see? We got to know that. That's what we have to know, family. You see? So again, this whole cancer situation, poverty, you know what I mean, etc., any type of dis-ease, there is a holistic way, there's a holistic approach to take, you see, to heal oneself of it, no matter what it is. And again, we're talking about addiction, you know what I mean, because you can be addicted to things that do not in return, you see what I'm saying, show itself to be of any type of benefit to you. You see? Time and energy. What are you putting your time and energy into? Again, my mother put a lot of time and energy into this church concept. You see? And again, when we're talking about time and energy and then having to reap the benefits, because we have to. That's universal law. What you put your time and energy into, you see? You have to reap the benefits, however they may come. Low, high, it don't matter. You see? As it relates to that, we're talking about even how the people, you see, within this denominational concept here, we're talking about how the people, of course, along the lines, misconstrued what the book was saying. Because again, the book was rewritten, of course, we all know that. But we're not taken away from his power. I am one, your brother is not one to tell you to throw the Holy Bible away at all. Again, I done said that before. You could take me off of that list. Scratch me off that list and talking about it's worthless, because no. But the key to the book is not reading it in a slave mind. What are you saying, brother Second Son? In the mind that you was programmed into to believe that this is a literal piece of work for you to take literally as it relates to the places and the people, you see, that it refers to. And that's not how any Holy Script was written. It was written for a allegorical lesson, meaning these characters that's in the book represents principles. That's what they represent, not human beings. So why is that important? So you as the neophyte, you see, does not give your power up to another entity. Because the whole moral of the story in any of these holy books, but let's specifically talk about the Holy Bible, because we're talking about my mama. Again, this session dedicated to her. 1027. Peace be upon my mother. The whole key to the book, again, is to be able to decode it and know that these characters represent principles and it's allegorical. Why is that important? Again, because you won't give up your power. You'll get to the spiritual maturity level to understand that it's you that you can replace with Jesus, Joshua, Moses, Mary, Esther, Ruth, you see what I'm saying? Delilah, etc. These are principles. And that's important to know, because then again, you're not giving up your power. You're able to holistically approach life for what it really is. We talk about time and energy. How did I get to this understanding? I had to make a conscious decision to cut a lot of unnecessary stuff that I was investing my time and energy into that was not producing of a high vibration. It was not producing to where my family, you see, could benefit from it. Now fast forward to the day, man. I see, you know, a massive, a grande, you see, examples of throughout my family and my loved ones. I can see the effects of the conscious decision that I made to sit down and really dig deep into self. You see what I'm saying? And be making my business to be used, you see, by God, let's say that, for like what I was really born to be used for. You see? And of course, you can't find that epiphany, or you can't come to that conclusion without sitting still, like the scriptures say. Be still and know. You see? There's no possible way that you can get to that frame of mind without doing so. That's all we're saying. That's all we're saying. And your brother, again, has been motivated by my mother and her life and what she invested her time and energy into, and I see the results. So, of course, I had to go investigate. You see? And investigating, I had to ask questions. And in asking questions, I found out that the whole theme of life is about the wonders of the human body. That's what it's about. And you have the free will to treat your body, you see, like you love it or not. And again, of course, that's going to come with your thoughts. That's going to all, the way you treat your body, your mind, body, and soul. You see, what you feed it, what you invest your time and energy into as it relates to your mind, body, and soul. Your thoughts. See, we always have to go back to your thoughts. That's how the whole think and grow rich. Napoleon Hill. That's how the whole concept comes about. Your thoughts have to be holistic. They have to be pure. And in order for your thoughts to be in a pure state of mind, you have to feed your mind a certain type of diet. That's just how this works. And again, the scriptures is telling us that. But again, you have to be able to have the spiritual fortitude. Let's say that. You see? To decode when the scriptures say what they say. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to define these allegorical characters for who they really are. And not mistake them for being somebody outside of you, you see what I'm saying, that has done something so miraculous that you cannot do. You see? Because we all have the ability to assist the blind man in seeing. You see? We all have the ability to assist the lame man into walking right, into talking right. We all have the ability to be a doctor in the sick room and a lawyer in the courtroom. We all have that ability. That's what we got to know. You see? And again, it's going to all boil down to your time and energy, whether your power, you see, is ignited. Because what makes me think about one thing that the scriptures say when it says, the prayers, watch this family, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Let's ponder on that. Let's ponder on that for a minute. Boom. Who in there? Let me get a water, baby. Listen. The prayers of the righteous availeth much. Let's think about that, family. Because you know we quick to say, pray, just pray. Pray about it. Pray. You know, I'm always praying. Pray, just pray. You see, we good at that. Thank you, baby. We good at that. You see, let's deal with this. Let's deal with this concept of time and energy. So you go, don't think that we done fell off the subject, because it's all about time and energy. If the prayers of the righteous availeth much, that means that, okay, if there's a righteous way of doing things, that means that there's an unrighteous way of doing things, correct? You see? Let's ponder on that for a minute, family. You see? Because we'll get into this whole thing about, you know, everybody makes mistakes, and we'll get to that where we're always giving somebody a pass. Always. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? But the scriptures say the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Availeth much. That means you already know what that means. That means it's jumping. The prayers of the righteous is jumping. But we know where there's righteous, there's unrighteous. You see how that works? Now, in order to live righteously, you got to put some time and energy in righteous activity. Huh? Come on now. Walk with me. Walk with your brother now. In order to benefit from the vibration of righteousness, okay? You have to invest some time and energy in some righteous activities. Now you see how important that is? We need to know what's righteous and unrighteous. Because again, within these denominationals, these denominations, you know what I mean? And again, this is a serious matter to me, seriously. Because my mother, and let's just specifically, you see what I'm saying, speak about my mother. But again, I got a mother-in-law, you see, that just transitioned 2 years ago from cancer. It was in her lung. Now, she will fit the category as well to give a lot of time and energy in this denominational concept. You see, this demo God concept of doing things. This ain't no coincidence that not only my mother means the world to me, but my mother-in-law as well. Me and my mother-in-law, like I told you at the top of this session, me and my mother-in-law had the same exact relationship as me and my mama. She's venting to me and talking to me and asking me questions too. Like, you know, what you think about that type? You see? So she transitioned just 2 years ago now of cancer, found it in her lung. You see? So why are we saying this? Because I'm very passionate about the wonders of the human body and time and energy. These two precious gifts from God. Because I see in two women that meant the world to me, you see, put a lot of time and energy in something that we can't say, you see, reciprocated on a high level, on a high vibration. Huh? Now that's me telling my story now. Now, if it's a way to be righteous, again, there's a way to be unrighteous. Now let's go into the 7 deadly sins. See? And let's dig into it. Huh? One of the 7 deadliest sins is envy. Huh? So if you live in an envious life, that's not righteous. So your prayers ain't going to avail as much. See how that works? Huh? It ain't my rules. These are not my rules. This is just, you see, your good brother dissecting and approaching life as a thinking man. Again, because I come from a thinking womb. That's why I'm here to redeem my mother, you see, and my mother-in-law for that matter, of their ignorance of universal law, divine law, natural law, cosmic law. You see, that's all we're saying. Ignorance of meaning they didn't know. That's where your brother come in at, with knowing, the gnosis. Huh? Illuminati, the enlightened one. Yeah, I'm all that. You see? It's very important to know that there's an unrighteous way to approach life. To where, again, your prayers ain't doing nothing. That's why they ain't working. See? Huh? Now, it ain't me. It's not my word. It's me dissecting the word for the family and highlighting like what's really real. Not no emotions, you see? Because within these denominational chambers and institutions, there's the people they're operating on emotions, huh? Not the truth. Because see, again, it's the truth that'll set you free or make you free. Remember? Remember that? Now again, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. That means there's a protocol for righteous living. See, that's what we don't want to get into. We always, everybody, no, you know what I mean? We're all human. We all make mistakes. To where nobody is held accountable for nothing, never. You see? Even as a, let's just say this, as a church member, let's say that. I mean, because again, in church, it's a certain way. It's a law in there, ain't it? You know? So how is it that the prayers ain't drying this cancer up in my mama's body? Huh? How is it that these prayers are not drying? They ain't drying up the cancer in my mama's body. She transitioned on. So are you going to tell me that it wasn't no praying going on? When they found out that my mama had cancer running all through her body, huh? It's spreading. It done spread. Now, are you telling me that it wasn't no prayers of the righteous? Huh, Facebook family? Huh, YouTube? Your brother needs to know. See how that work? And again, I can't offend when I'm talking about my own mother. Are you telling me that the people that she went to church with, you telling me that this denomination that she put bukus of time and energy into, blood, sweat, and tears, are you telling me that this denomination, you see, this organization of religious people didn't have enough righteousness in them, huh? From their prayers to dry the cancer up in her body? Because that's again, see, that's how egotistical that stuff is. Because we'll say that. Pray for my mama. See, you know what I mean? Oh yeah, everything gonna be all right. We got the prayer warriors. We the prayer warriors. We own it. We own it. And then when she transitioned, oh, that's just what God just wanted his angel. See, that's ego. What? You just said you was a prayer warrior, and you know what I mean? Is God gonna fix it? He gonna intervene and yada yada. But then when she slip away, everybody, oh, you switch up your mouth now. You see? Now God wanted his angel with him. Not just 6 days ago, you was talking about how, you see? Huh? So that's what we saying here. Your good brother is asking you the question. You see? Was it not any human beings within the denomination that she put blood, my mother, see, put blood, sweat, and tears into? Bukus of time and energy into. You know what I mean? She at the church when she could have been at my games. Huh? Now we already, you know what I'm saying? Me and my mother, you know, she already know, her spirit know we good. But I'm just teaching. We teaching right now. You see what I'm saying? She chose to goddamn, you know what I mean, be in that church. And again, when she transitioned, you see all the prayer warriors. So the prayers of the righteous, again, family, they availeth much. But guess what? This is the kicker. This is the key. You have to be whole. You can't be 3/5. You see, you can't be operating on 3/5 of a frequency. You know, what does that mean, Brother Sekond? So I mean you in possession of your mind, your body, and your soul, but it's a corporation in operation that took 2 of your pillars, your divine creed and your nationality. And nationality is just simply your culture. And popping firecrackers on the 4th of July is not part of your culture. Nowhere near it. Because there's no celebration for that. For those of you that look like me. Huh? And we can go on and on with the rituals that your 3/5 self participates in. Your 3/5 self participates in a whole lot of devilment. You see? Again, Mama and them got a form of godliness in this denominational jurisdiction. Demo God. A demo. We know a demo God. See? Come on now. Again, let's stick with the scriptures. The prayers of the righteous avail much. To live righteous is a lifestyle. See? That's your nationality. We got to know that. Nationality is a lifestyle. You see? A culture. A way of doing things. And we got to get on the right side of man, know thyself, and to thine own self be true. Because when you giving only 3/5 of yourself to a situation, we know that's not whole. You're not whole. In Leviticus, it says that the life of the flesh is in the blood. And the blood is what makes atonement for the soul. So again, that's key right there, telling you, oh man, it's my diet. It's my diet. Because what I put on my skin penetrates my skin and flows into my bloodstream. That's important. What I put on my skin, what I put in my mouth, what I'm drinking. You see, what I am drinking. Am I drinking water? My body is made up of the majority, you see, 75 to 80% fluid or water. So of course I need to be, if water is a part of me, I need to be drinking it because you see, that's a part of me. That's how I operate. My body doesn't operate on alcohol, you see. It's not created to function on a, watch this, holistic level, whole. Because that's what the Holy Bible, you remember? It's a whole book. Whole, meaning to live whole, not partial. Alcohol, you see, it's not in the instructions. You know how we do. In the instruction manual, you know how we do, especially as men. Man, we'll get that thing, man, and look at it. We'll look at the picture and just think, you know what I'm saying, man, I can go and put this together. Yeah, I see, okay, yeah, that go right there, and then that go right there. Man, without reading this, the manual. And get right on down the line. And I know I have been over years. You live and you learn. Experience will teach you. I get right over there down to the last part and say, man, where'd this go? I got a part. Then I go back to the manual. I supposed to put the part, you see what I'm saying, right there before that, and then put that there, and then thinking I could just eyeball it. You see? That's what we're doing in this 3/5 of a mindset. We're approaching life like, you know what I mean, just with what we know from a programming now. That's what we're doing. We're approaching life with a program. Oh, I can just go on and do this and boom, boom. But see, this is how I gotta make my bread though. I gotta pay the bills, but not knowing, you see what I'm saying, how you paying the bills is you lying on the paperwork, you know what I mean? Just it's certain, you know, it's all kind of different ways. You know how we, you know what I'm saying, within the corporation. This how they do it. You see what I'm saying? This how they do. You see? And then you get yourself in trouble. On later on down the line because you find out, God dang, I can't shortcut life. You know what I mean? And again, the way to approach life as it relates to this instruction that's coming out the whole book. This is instruction on how to live, how to operate the human body. You see? And again, alcohol ain't you dehydrating. You taking fluids out of the body. You see? You're working against yourself. Now, that can be a form of unrighteousness. It can. Yeah. A porn addiction. That could be a form of unrighteousness. You see? And any form of addiction. Like we said, we got to deal with the 7 deadly sins. When we're talking about how to operate this thing, this human body, you see, this grand machinery that God gave us so we can be successful. We can produce down here on the earth planet and create generational wealth for our seeds and our grandseeds and our great-grandseeds, etc., to come, and for humanity to be able to be lifted up by our being here versus being a weight, being a liability. We want to be an asset. You see what I'm saying? Come on now. Assets before splurging. Look out, ABS tribe. You see what I'm saying? It's very important that we know the law so we can obey the law. Again, When we're talking about the law over here, we're talking about the laws of the land, my human body. That the Holy Bible was speaking about. That's the land, you see, that the human body, that the Bible was talking about. My human body. Because this is where I get the ability to be successful from, my human body. Now, if it's sick ridden, you see, full of sickness, I can't produce in a godly fashion. I cannot produce in a righteous fashion. That's just what it is now. We can't deny that fact. That's logic. That only makes sense. That means the machinery is you see what I'm saying? Got some type of malfunction going on. Come on now. When you're not producing whole, the life of the flesh is in the blood. The life. So again, when we're talking about life, we already know we're talking about light. You understand? Like, you know what I mean? Joy. You see? We're not talking about depression. That's death. That's not life. So if life is the foundation, you see what I'm saying? Well, excuse me, if the blood is the foundation of life, then we already know that's common sense. We got to, you know what I'm saying, make it our business to put in our blood what gives it life. You see? Now that's going to come with education. The wonders of the human body. Well, your brother has made it his business to delve into, family. How it works. How it works. That's what I need to know. And you see your good brother come to find out when he come back with the keys that it's 7 what we call major spiritual centers that's connected to my human body, my flesh self. That's what we found out. That's what we found out in our studies. In our knowledge of self studies. We come to find out that there's 7 again spiritual centers that's connected to my flesh self, my carnal, natural body, that in Revelations is defined through the 7 churches. Church of Thyatira, Church of Philadelphia, Church of Pergamos, you see, etc. There's 7 of these churches that Revelations speak about, that defines these 7 spiritual centers that's connected to my flesh self, that's defined as chakras. You see? My 7 chakras. And what's important, why are we bringing that up, is because my blood plays a major role in what my blood is vibrating. You see? The frequencies that my blood is emitting to this spirit man plays a major role in how well these spiritual centers receive information and give it. Because we got to know that there is an unrighteous way of living that does not benefit these 7 spiritual centers. You see? That's connected to every human being walking the face of the earth with a navel. You see, we already know that every human being got a navel. These spiritual centers play a major role in how you understand life. These spiritual sinners can be disconnected. There could be a disconnect, you see, that relates directly to your childhood. That's law. That's why we got to know as parents, it's very important to put our babies in a provide and protect type situation and make it our business to, you see, religiously check on them, communicate with them, develop a line of communication with them, you see, etc. Because again, your success is riding on these spiritual sinners. Now it's 7 major and how many minor, boo? 21 minor chakras. 7 major and 21 minor chakras. And again, this is your spirit man we're talking about. See? These chakras are connected to that man that make you say, I should have followed my first mind. See, I knew, I said to myself, and I didn't follow my first mind. I said I shouldn't have, or I said, whatever. That's your spirit man. Right there. You see? Or, on the other side of that, man, I'm so glad I followed my first mind and came over here because I end up meeting you and man, we done chopped it up, man, and I really have, you see what I'm saying? We both gained from this on the other end of that, you see? The law of polarity. You know what I mean? Where there's good, on the other end there's evil, etc. You know what I mean? Good, bad, positive, negative, that lit. Your spirit man, that's what we got to know, is connected, you see, to these experiences. And you got 7 major, and like my baby girl say, 21 minor. And they all, again, receive and give information. And the ability to do that can be blocked with your childhood. What are you saying, brother second son? My childhood. Be specific. Help me out. If you grew up in a very abusive environment, you're going to be affected by this, what we're talking about. There's going to be what's known as blockage within this chakra system. Chakra, chakra. You see? If you come up in a very if you come up in a very abusive environment, we already know that's going to cut off lines of communication. You're not going to know how to communicate. If you're one of the babies that had to come up in a what you call what they call it, psychology has a detachment. Yeah, they have, terminology for these different issues or diseases. You know what I mean? Because they show up in form of disease. Detachment issues. If you had, you know what I'm saying, you grew up in detachment, like meaning there was no nurturing, like, you know what I'm saying, you was put in the corner, you know what I mean, and just pretty much had to figure it out yourself with a coloring book or whatever, yada yada. You see what I'm saying? These are just, real quick examples of what we mean by there will be blockage in these spiritual centers. Now these 21 minor, the knees would be part of one of the 21 minor. See? Now that's important because the knees, this is where you get the whole concept of being on your knees when you pray. But watch this, family. The most, we're going to say the most advantageous, you see, a position or let's say place that you can be in when praying on your knees will be with your knees on the bare ground, Mother Earth. You see? And the time and energy, again, that you're putting into anything, it's very important that you know before you put the time and energy into it. You see what I'm saying? It's very important that you know what you're dealing with or who you're dealing with. Because see, we can spend time and energy with some people that it doesn't bring us back nothing. And you got to get to the spiritual, you see, maturity level to know that. Like, you know what I mean? That go for kinfolk or no folk. That's just what it is. When you get to a level of actually knowing like what this time and energy concept is all about. To where again you're grabbing hold to the knowledge to be able to feed these spiritual centers that we call the chakras. You see? The life of the flesh is in the blood. And the blood is what makes at one ment, meaning harmony with the soul. You see? Now again, these 7 seals or these 7 churches that Revelation speak about is specifically talking about these 7 major chakras, Philadelphia being one. And when you get into a thorough knowledge of self, you'll find out that what we call in the United States of America, Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love, is represented as the third eye chakra. You see? What you call the brow chakra, B-R-O-W, brow, right here. And the third eye is right behind there. In Revelations, the Church of Philadelphia represents that third eye, you see? Then that's why we tie in a lesson about you going over there on the back of the $1 bill and you see on the left side that there's an eye detached from the pyramid. That means somebody took your eye. Now I got on my YouTube channel the third eye exposed lesson. You go check that out, Second Son on YouTube. I went live on it, I believe, not too long ago. That's important that you have, that you're in possession of your third eye, because the third eye represents Jesus. We got to know that. You see? And we already know that Jesus is the light of the world. Jesus is the light. He's the light of the world. Jesus is the light. He's the light of the world. He's ever shining in my soul. You see what I'm saying? Jesus is the light. Because that's what the third eye is. The light that giveth, you see? That gives light. It's that lamp, that gives light to the whole human body. And if that third eye, you see, if it's not in your possession, meaning you are 5/5, meaning you are whole. You see, meaning you are in the know on your organic nationality, meaning culture, you see, a lifestyle, a way of living, and your divine creed, meaning it's yours. When you're in that frame of mind, that's when Jesus is the light, you see. Because when you're in that frame of mind, you whole, once again. And you have the light or the lamp that sheds light on the whole body. Now again, it takes time and energy to be able to, you see, get that light to shine. Because as you can see on that left side of that dollar bill, you see, as it relates to this corporation and this 3/5 of a person concept, somebody took your third eye, you see, to where you're just operating with mind, body, and soul. It's in your possession, but the corporation owns it. And not only own it, has the ability to make it move like a puppet or you see, they got a remote control to make their, you see, their private property, because that's what it is. Now we're talking corporate law. To make their private property move in their favor. What are you saying, brother Second Son? Where you live and die, you see what I'm saying, and never proclaim, you see, your nationality, meaning you have corrected on the record that you know who you are, therefore you're moving like, you see, you know who you are, and there's protection. That's all we're saying here. That's when Jesus is the light. See? But if Jesus or this eye again on the back of that dollar bill, we told you in the third eye exposed lesson that left side, that's mama, and the right side is father. You see? And when my eye is displaced again, I can't see. That same eye that the scriptures say, the eye of the Lord is in every place, beholding the evil and the good. That's this one. That's my third. That's mine though. You see? Now, if I've given that up through this 3/5 of a frequency, meaning I pledge allegiance that all of my success and my power, it comes through somebody else. That's a farce. Yeah, that's unlawful. That's an unlawful approach to life. That's an unlawful way of thinking. That's an unlawful way of doing things. If you are in the mindset of it's going to take this allegorical character, you see what I'm saying, to fix me. Now, the allegorical character is there for you to get the lessons and fix yourself. You see? Now again, this comes with dissemination. You see, we have to be taught this. Because again, in these demo jurisdictions, demo, meaning we already know what a demo is. That's not the real deal. That's just something for me, that's a model for me to show you. You know what I mean? Demo. Now, we got to know that a Republican form of government is organic. We got to know that. That's a universal, divine way of living in a Republican form of government. We got to know that. That's the original, organic, because Republican form seats the mother in the right place and does not sit her down like a demo or a democracy form of government, because that's patrilineal. That's when you get, you know what I'm saying, they're talking about the man supposed to sit the woman down that gave birth to him. That don't make sense. See, and that's a whole nother conversation, but it's about law and order. Huh? Time and energy. What you put your time and energy into, that's what you're going to get back in return. And your brother, again, went and dedicated specific time, 7 days a week. We're trying to figure this thing out because my mother, again, transitioning of cancer at 53 was just, I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't all the way on accepting it. Yeah, let's say that. I wasn't all the way on accepting it. I wasn't sold on that. So what are you saying, brother Second Son? I had to go get a thorough knowledge of self, because a thorough knowledge of self does this, family. It rids emotions, or let's say this, it places emotions in its proper position. Let's say that, because we got to have emotions, but you have to be the master of them. You see, to be able to respond like to life, period, whatever situation, in a non-emotional, meaning I've mastered my emotions, meaning You see, I can't look at my mother's death like, but I can't, but that's not fair. You see what I'm saying? That in that frame of mind, that's emotional. It's not fair. She was 53. That's too young. She was saved. She gave her life to the church. She just churched and she churched. I mean, God, come on now. You know what I mean? She's supposed to be one of the ones that, you know what I mean, still here. And that, you see, that's emotional. That's not, you see what I'm saying? That's not dealing with universal and divine laws, cosmic laws, you see, natural laws, because they're connected to the truth. That's the whole key here. You see, the laws, these divine laws that God, the universal one, has set out before us, emotions, you see what I'm saying? It's the truth that sets us free. So with that, all of the questions that I had, they got answered through the wonders of the human body. That's how they got answered. You see? And with that being said, again, it's about what you put your time and energy into, because I'm a living witness. I dedicated specific time. I turned off the TV. I let the people, you know what I'm saying, go ahead and take the goddamn on satellite. My contract was up. We were right on time for when I was awakening to my higher self, you see, and my family, you know what I mean, of course, everybody, they can tell you that, yeah, he dedicated time and energy, like wasn't no, you know what I'm saying, clubbing, and you see what I'm saying, under the tree, you know what I'm saying, shooting the shit, you know what I'm talking about, yada yada, none of that, you know what I'm saying, ain't knocking nobody for what they do, but I'm just telling you my story. I dedicated specific time and energy to these questions that I had about, man, my mama, man, this cancer thing, man. And boom, this is where we come to. We get to this right here. I know I'm going in today, but this is for my mama, so I'm not even tripping. I'm winding down, though. You know what I'm saying? But we got to do this thing on 10/27 because it's imperative that the family know who you're dealing with when it comes to your good brother, second son. You see? Like, for real. Like, where I come from, the womb, etc. It's important. You know what I mean? Because my mother's spirit is rejoicing with the results that her second son come up with when it came to these questions that he had. See, because I found out that she was having questions. She was jotting them down and was finding out after she was diagnosed, of course, or during this time of her not feeling too well. She started to research, and I found it in her writings because she's a Gemini, and she, you know, we know them Geminis, they're creative writers, artists, etc. And she was writing and was jotting down like, yeah, I need to, you know what I'm saying, shut down the fried foods, incorporate fruits, veggies, nuts, etc. into all of that. So with knowing that, that gave me the motivation to take the vibration that she was on and just, you see what I'm saying, enhance it, turn it up a notch, like we supposed to do from generation to generation. We're supposed to get better. I don't supposed to repeat what my father did as it relates to the mistakes, if you will. You know what I mean? The quote unquote unrighteous or wrong way of doing things. You see? I'm supposed to make things better. That's the key. Now, with me, that's just who I am as well, because I'm an observer. I've always been the type that learn from another person's mistake type cat. That's me. You know what I mean? The reason why you wouldn't get me to indulge in no crack cocaine participation. You see what I'm saying? Because I see the results of what that crack cocaine do. See, I'm one of them. I'm one of them that also see how, as I had children, I observed how, you know, you have a father that puts a lot of emphasis on, you see, the financial part and what he brings to the table on that. But I observe that father, a lot of times, just in my observation, he misses out on a bond with his child that's needed for, like, when that child is you see what I'm saying, older. And I'm seeing results of that now because I'm 44 years of age, and I'm able to see, like, I'm able to observe different examples of what I'm talking about. You see? So what I'm saying here is I'm the type, you know what I'm saying, that want to know. That's just the moral of the story. And with wanting to know, I want to know how to do it successfully. You see what I'm saying? That's my thing. I have enough examples of, you see, before me, how to do it unsuccessfully and how to do it successfully. Both. So with that being said, I'm able to discern, you see, as a child and to growing up into a grown man today, to see, like, okay, yeah. And that again, that brings me into the whole wanting to turn up the production of my mother's tree. You know, like the scriptures say, you see what I'm saying? The fruit you bear that you produce. You see? That's where, you see what I'm saying? You get your business. You judge a man by the fruit that he bear. You see what I'm saying? So my mother, you know what I mean? I'm definitely on a mission to make sure that her legacy, you see what I'm saying, is extended through mine as it relates to this whole knowledge of self concept. You see what I'm saying? And of course, I got my daddy too. I got his back for what he ain't, you know what I mean, wasn't able to understand. I got him to make this thing, you see what I'm saying, for humanity, as it relates to humanity and being a, you see what I'm saying, a productive human being. That's where your brother is at with this whole knowledge of self, health is wealth, and the whole movement. You see? And of course, making it my business for my legacy, you see, to go ahead and take a whole vibration of its own. You know what I mean? Because I have a 14-year-old son that's, you know what I mean, like a master, a guitarist, aspiring. Let me say that. You know what I mean? So nobody won't feel like I'm being arrogant. I have a 14-year-old son that's an aspiring master guitarist and musician. He you know what I mean? That's my super producer. I said that when he was young. He's into music, all that. It's a bloodline, of course. And a master chef. Why am I saying that? Because I fast forward up to today, and when I'm talking about my legacy and being, you know, an extension of my mother's and my father's, you see, my son is now able to go prepare a plant-based meal for his great auntie and get paid for it. You see? That's how we saying here. And again, that's an example of not only time and energy, but generational wealth. You see? I have a 23-year-old daughter that this coming November, 11/11, will make 2 years, I believe, that she made it her business to step out into the entrepreneur world and let the people know that she has a gift with her hands, handcrafted jewelry. You see, what they call it, waist beads, etc. She making her own handmade earrings, yada yada, golden gems. Came up with a name, created a name. You see what I'm saying? Instagram, Facebook, etc. Making orders. You see? My baby girl is an aspiring. Now, I can't leave y'all at Golden Gems just with the handcrafted jewelry because she's an artist. She paint too, man. You see what I'm saying? And my baby girl Yeah, y'all, I said I can't leave her without her hands. See, she cooked too, see. Y'all cook, you know what I mean? Golden Gems, my 23-year-old dog, she cooks too. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Master chef type lick. Seriously. Why are we saying all this? Because, hey, it's my mama. You know what I mean? This is all about my mama, man, this whole session. So we're going to have to go on and get this in for the, you see, cyber space. Because this is going to be documented forever. You know what I mean? 1027. 15 years my mama physical shell been gone. You know what I mean? Golden Gems, my 23-year-old daughter. Again, yeah, she's master chefing too. My baby girl, she about to be 20. She's an aspiring, you know what I mean, tarot or tarot card, if you will. Astrologist, numerologist, you know what I mean? She'll have to, you know what I'm talking about? Define herself for y'all. But I'm just saying, you know what I mean? I got a 22-year-old daughter. She just, you know what I mean, created her own workout. You know what I'm saying? Because she saw that she needed some type of extra motivation for her health and her mind, body, and soul. So she recently created, you see what I'm saying? I'm gonna say a workout, hold me accountable group, private group. You know what I mean? She created that, documenting her health, her workout regimen, etc. My babies. You know what I'm saying? And you know, again, the reasoning for bringing it all up is we talking about time and energy. Your good brother already know that these are the effects of the conscious decision that I made to get myself right holistically in 2014. You see? These are the results. These are the results, you see? And as it relates to my contribution to humanity, this is where I'm at. I'm with, you see what I'm saying? Making a example, a make sense example out of my life. You see? With no fear. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you know what I mean? No discouraging, nothing. Because again, you see what I'm saying? You have to dedicate a specific amount of time and energy into self in order to come out whole. You see? And be able to look at life holistically. You see? And just like my mother, I have a deep passion in my heart for children. Now I have to add the woman to my passion, because my mother had a passion, of course, for children. My passion for the woman and child is deep embedded in my DNA. And it's not by coincidence, because I was raised by a woman and two of her sisters, you see, that displayed to me what I got out of their examples as a woman, for me, was strength. You see? And that's all I needed from all three of them. Not now one of them ever showed me a sign of weakness. I said showed me. Of course, we talking about, we know they're human. My mama and her sister, we know they're human. And they had their weak moments, of course. We know that. But I said what they showed me. See? And what they instilled in me, if you will. You see? Was strength, not weakness. And that's why I can stand on my square today and not waver from who I am, and not, you see, feel like, oh no, I want to blend in. Hey guys, no, none of that. I want to stand out. Huh? Because I know it's imperative for me to do so. Because my mission, again, my personal mission is about to uplift fallen humanity as it relates to the woman woman and child. That's where I'm at. The only way I have enough spiritual sense enough to know that the only way I can do that is if I am my whole self. My God body self. And of course, again, we know that poverty is a disease and a sickness. And poverty can lead to cancer. That's what we got to know. Family. See? That's how you got church members, church folk suffering from disease as it relates to addiction and all. You see? Because somebody didn't get the holistic memo. The divine memo to how the human body works. You see? Again, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. That alone lets you know that there's an unrighteous way to do stuff. Because if it's a righteous way, you see? And again, the righteous way, root word, right. Come on now. That's a simple lesson. Right way is directly connected to your culture, your organic culture, not your 3/5 of a person. I belong to this such and such and such and such and such. I'm a member of Zion Hill Church of God. You know what I mean? Christ. Whoop de whoop de whoop. You see? That's not whole. That's partial. And I know, family, at this point in our life, we should be able to see that there's something missing. And your brother is here to let you know what's missing. A thorough knowledge of self. That means how the human body works, not emotions, not no, I get to slip through the cracks by doing something that's unrighteous and expecting righteous results somewhere. You see? That's ego. See, that's not logical. And again, we got to know the laws. We got to know the rules. That's my position here. You see? And again, poverty, we got to keep saying that, family, is a sickness and a disease because it leads to all other. These cancers, that's going to be the foundation of cancer, poverty. You see what I'm saying? And again, poverty comes in the form of finances and spiritual, you see what I'm saying, poverty. As it relates to your spirit man is sick and don't even have no power as it relates to availeth much. You see, because ain't no righteous connected to it. We got to know that there are religious people that's not living righteous. We just have to know that. You religious, meaning, you know what I mean? You into you pray, say that, you know what I mean? Just like we say, pray. I go to church. That's a form of godliness. But your time and energy, as it relates to, you see what I'm saying, actions, are connected to one or two concepts. That's righteous or unrighteous. That's what we got to know. You see what I'm saying? And these are the results that you're going to get. I'm on that because, again, my mother spent a lot of time and energy in the church. See, that's time and energy. But inside of the church was not a holistic teaching. That was 3/5 of a person teaching because it was taking the power that you possess and giving it to an allegorical character that was there just to teach you a lesson about principle. Not to teach you to worship this image or this, you see, this man for that matter. You see? And that right there is the foundation of the unrighteous living. That's what we're trying to tell y'all. Because you start to live life unrighteously from that point on. Like when you start right there at believing that the power, you see what I'm saying, that is going to allow you to successfully overcome whatever, poverty, sickness, you see what I'm saying, disease, etc. If you're thinking that that power is outside of you and it is it's solely on the shoulders of another man, that's you, that's unrighteous. That's you don't yeah, that's not you're not thinking righteously. Because if you was, you would know that all of the success of your healing yourself or overcoming challenges or overcoming obstacles that will come in life, you see, that's on you. You have that power. But again, it comes through this understanding of knowing who you are. You see? You got to know who you are. Knowledge of self, health as well. Who am I? Am I a God body? Or am I a chattel, a chattel slave? You see? Am I God body? When the scriptures say ye are gods, you see what I'm saying? We got to put all of that together, family. That's all we're saying. And again, my mother's life pushed me toward this understanding of, man, it's way deeper than all that. You got to go down there and find self. And not through no organization. And that's not to say that there's not an organization existing that will assist you in developing as a human being. That ain't what we're saying. What we're saying here is a specific question. What are they teaching as it relates to time and energy? Like, what are they promoting me to put my time and energy in? That's the key. Because again, that's a universal law as it relates to humanity. If you're walking around here with a navel, that you invest time and energy into, that you invest time and energy into, you're going to reap the results of that. You see? Whether it's low or high vibration. We all have the ability to discern. That's embedded in our birthright. But we have to be in our right state of mind to do so. You cannot be only operating 3/5, meaning your mind, body, and soul is in possession of a corporation that's telling you who you are. But in telling you who you are, it's some goddamn on major chapters missing in the book. Major. You see? And that's important for us to highlight. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Yeah, every institution that I go into from the time I'm born until I'm an adult within this corporation that we call a country, U.S.A. I'm getting programmed. I'm getting programmed to benefit the corporation, not myself. See, we old enough now to weigh out the pros and cons to this thing, family. Independent school district, Sunday school, college, you see what I'm saying? Versus trade school, etc. You see what I'm saying? That's just, you see what I'm saying, what it is. We're able to go on and discern now, like, okay, these are the results. And through this whole shebang, there's a program that's not benefiting me as it relates to generational wealth and none of that. And that's all we're saying, family, you see? That it's important to highlight the truths of the matter so we can get to the root of the problem and fix it. That's what your good brother is here for. That's Second Son with a K, S-U-N. And I'm not going nowhere. You understand? And I have the I'm up under a divine, again, obligation to teach what I know. And I'm going to do so. You see? In the most creative way that I can. You see? Knowledge of self, health is wealth. Again, this is your good brother, second son. That's second with a K. S-U-N, because I am Carolyn's second son. It's been a walk with me live session from inside of Bay Island. You understand me? And like I said at the top of the session, in honor of my mother, who transitioned 15 years ago to date of breast cancer. Man, they told me that my mama had a hole in her breast. I never saw it. Because that ain't my role. I'm like I told y'all earlier, I plays my role. My queen, my wife, and my brother, they saw it. They told me. They already, that's not my, you see, that's not my role. Again, I play a certain role. And seeing a hole in my mother's breast, yeah, nah, I wasn't going, I already knew that I wasn't trying to, you see what I'm saying, ride with that image for, throughout my life. But yeah, they tell me my mama had a hole in her breast, family. You see what I'm saying? And again, I take that to, I take her whole experience down here, her whole life, like serious. You know what I mean? So that's why you get what you get out of me. Like I'm a disciplined soldier. You know what I mean? This kufi on my head simply, for me, means that I'm a master of self. What does that mean, brother second son? That means that the places that I used to go, I don't go no more. The things that I used to do, I don't do no more. The people that I used to hang with, I don't hang with no more. You see? The certain different, this is what this kufi means to me, family. You see, again, like I told y'all before, I'm not a Muslim, but I am a Muslim. You understand? But this, for me, represents, of course, an ancient headdress for my ancestors. It's just an ancient headdress. We all have, we got different forms of ancient headdress. You see what I'm saying? And for me, again, it just signifies or dignifies me or sets me aside as a master of self. To me, that's what it means. Because again, I don't move on emotion. I move on truth. You see? And it's very imperative that I do so, because this mission that I'm on is very serious to me. And I have to lead by example. I'm one that's not with perpetrating a fraud. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you and tell you knowledge of self. I dedicated time, you see what I'm saying, to do this. And you see what I'm saying, I corrected my diet, plant-based, for the last 5 years. You see what I'm saying, I don't watch a lot of TV. You know what I mean? I can barely, you know what I'm saying? I'm an athletic guy, but I can't watch a whole game no more, etc. Yada yada. You see? That I can't do all of that, say all of that, and then you come where you come live, you know what I'm saying? You come to my home, my house, and I'm living like a nigga. See, I'm not with that. You see what I'm saying? That's perpetrating a fraud. I'm not with telling you, you know what I mean, to you see what I'm saying? Get a thorough knowledge of self, health as well for yourself, because it's beneficial. You know what I mean? It turns your vibrations up. It creates generational wealth for your seeds and great grands to come and your grands, etc. You see, I'm not here to tell you all that and then be living like a nigga. You see what I'm saying? Come to the hot man, look how I thought they were talking about high vibrational. What they doing over here? You see what I'm saying? I'm not with that. So again, I have to establish myself as a leader, and then it trickles down through my wife and my children. Like I just explained to you, I got, you know what I mean, I got seeds, man, that's doing stuff that's not, let's say this, that's not of the norm. You know what I mean? My baby, they not, where you go to, you know what I'm saying? They not on the, you feel me? They in a knowledge of self, health is wealth vibration. And what that means is simply do for self. That's the foundation of it. Like create something that's beneficial for humanity, you see, and benefit from it. You see? So again, this ain't, I mean, that's all this is meaning. Is this setting me apart? It's distinguishing me, okay? I said dignified, but let's say that word, distinguishing me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? From you see what I'm saying? Whatever. Just so somebody can have a question to ask, like, hey brother, what you a Muslim? Because I done had them ask me before. You know what I mean? And I break it down to them. No, I'm not a Muslim, but I am a Muslim. Now you go and you know what I'm saying, do your due diligence, and you'll find out that a Muslim is a Muslim. And you'll find out that a Muslim is a lifestyle. You see? Just like Christianity, just like a Christian or Christianity is supposed to, you see, define as a lifestyle. That's how it's supposed to be defined. And of course, you're defining a lifestyle, of course, by how you live. Huh? And of course, all of that is in the list of disease, including poverty. I'm mashing the gas. I'm getting it up out of my aura. Making sure sickness and disease cannot penetrate my chakras. You see? Because as healthy as I am, as healthy as my environment will be. You got that, family? I had to go on and end with that right there. But until the next time, because I already told you who I am a number of times. You know that by now. Go over there to the Instagram and follow me over there. Sekond Son, that's second with a K, S-U-N, the number 9. For some more, capital M-O-O-R, of this light, capital L-I-G-H-T. Peace.